Good morning, everybody. Wow, that's a hot mic. It's good to see everybody here. We're super excited to have you here. Well, welcome this morning. As always, coffee in the back. The wonderful Addie's back there. It looks like Elisa's back there as well. Today our theme is hope to hold on. And as we reflect on this theme of hope to hold on, there's a lot of experiences, there's a lot of things going on in our lives that require this intentional posturing to want to hold on, to get through, to stand your ground, to figure out how you can make it to the next season of life. That changes for all of us. And hope's usually our North Star, the thing that we're wanting, the thing that we're craving to our core. And that hope might be really similar between people. It could be exactly the same, and it could be pretty different. But we have this collective hope in this space. So that's the theme we're exploring today. The scripture verse that we're going to reflect on, that I'll be reflecting on a little bit more with everybody, it comes from Hebrews 10, 23 through 25. And this is kind of our reframing, rewording of this well-known verse. Let's hold on to the things we hope in and for, because we are held by the God who keeps promises. Might we remind each other to keep on loving and doing the good work no matter what. And let's not stop spending time together like some people do, but continue to encourage and support one another, even when it feels like the world is ending. I did want to mention this entire month we're celebrating our church's 75th anniversary with different events, etc., that we'll be talking about more. In the traditional service right now, they have this really festive celebration of all the music and worship and worship styles that we've done. So that's just a heads up. But let me pray for this morning. Make sure you grab a coffee or a tea or hot water, whatever you need, and then we'll get started. God, we thank you for this morning. We thank you for every morning, for the opportunity to be a community of faith together. People who can show up wherever we're at, whatever's going on. Maybe we're walking in here excited to see friendly faces. Maybe we're excited to sing or be in your presence or learn. Or maybe it was really hard to come in this morning. I know for me, it was the first morning where I had to scrape ice off of my car, so that felt symbolic in some ways, but also complicated because I was also excited. But God, we just pray that you're with us during this time, and we thank you for your continual love. In your Son's name we pray, amen. Let's worship.
Bless my heart, bless my soul. I didn't think I'd make it to 25 years old. There must be someone up above saying, come on, Georgie, you got to come on up. Yeah, you gotta hold on. Yeah, you gotta hold on. So bless my heart and bless yours too. Don't know what I'm gonna go, don't know what I'm gonna do. There must be someone up above saying, come on, George, gotta get back up. Yeah, you gotta hold on. Yeah, you gotta hold on. I'm not gonna wait. No, I'm not gonna wait. my heart, bless my mind. I got so much to do, I ain't got much time. Must be someone up above saying, come on, Colonial, you gotta get back up. Oh, you gotta hold. Yeah, you gotta hold on. I'm not gonna wait. No, no, I'm not gonna wait. I'm not gonna wait. But I don't wanna wait. Yeah, you gotta hold on. All right. Good morning, everybody. Speaking of holding on, we don't have to hold on any longer because right now we're going to invite all of our kids to come on up to the front as we sing our God's Garden song. God's Garden, for those of you who are new to us right now or have been watching online or wherever you are, we're doing our Sunday school and calling that God's Garden. So any friends age birth through 5th grade, come on up to the front. We're going to sing our God's Garden song. Band, we're going to do it in the key of C today. And I'll sing it once through, and then I invite the congregation to sing with us as well. Come, oh come, come to the garden, gather round, come without fear, known by name here in God's garden, all are welcome here. All together now. Come, oh come, come to the garden, gather round, come without fear, known by name here in God's garden, all are welcome here. Yeah, give yourselves a round of applause. Yeah! Liza knows what's up. Awesome. Friends, you can go and head outside with Jane and Kenzie and Elise and Ainsley, and we'll see you later. Oh, actually, friends, I can't believe I forgot the most important thing. You know what I forgot? Oh, my gosh. You probably remember. Chloe, do you remember what we do? No? Okay, well, so what we do is we have to say on the count of 3 as loud as we can. Hi, church, exactly. Eliza remembers. Okay, on the count of 3, hi, church, as loud as you can. 1, 2, 3.
Hi, church.
And church, on the count of 3, I would like you to say as loud as you can with as much love in your heart as you can. Have fun, kids. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Have fun, kids.
Okay, now.
That's perfect. How do you want to be? Good morning. For those of you who don't know me, I am Leah Appleton. I am part of the incredible Emerging Generations team. And I get to share with you a little bit this morning for our Breathe In. As we continue the theme of holding on to hope and that we need each other. I recently had a great opportunity and experience to travel with one of my best friends to the Badlands and then to Theodore Roosevelt National Park. And it was an incredible experience, beautiful, highly underrated parks if you've never been. And we were really into waking up to watch the sunrises and watching the sunsets. And so as we think about this theme today, I wanted to share with you a reflection I wrote while watching the sunrise at the Badlands. Here's a few photos of that. But this is what I wrote while watching the sunrise. Consider the creation, beauty at fault for nothing. Consider the weight it holds, the miles of wear and tear. It's held grief deep in the ground and yet found found the joy of dancing rain bringing life again. Consider the shift of landscape. What it once was now appears different, yet it holds fast to the memory of all that it's been. Consider this creation as the earth around you, but also as your own body, ever-changing, yet you cling to the depths of all that it's been. Some things we wish to no longer hold, others we pray to never forget. We can only respond with rooting ourselves in a chance for healing, believing that a new rainfall will come. Our landscape may shift, but it does not forget all that has been. Might we consider the creation of story, of change, of progress, disaster, healing. Consider the story, consider it worthy, and let it be written. So as we reflect on that today, a little bit more information about the Badlands. If you don't know, I was really moved by the landscape of it because it used to be a sea, like 75 million years ago. And so now it's this, and what is left is like death and decay, but it makes something beautiful. And so as you consider the landscape of your life, I want you to think about a few things today. What memories do you hold on to? What are some pieces you never wish to forget? What are some things from your story you no longer wish to hold? And where might you be invited to allow this landscape to change? We'll give you a few moments to reflect on that.
They build the wooden houses on frozen ponds in the summertime when the water's gone. Diagonal lines in the rolled out lawns, and the sage always smelled so pretty. But nobody cares where the birds have gone when the rain comes down on Babylon. The stonemason's phone rings all day long, and you gotta get back to the city. I built my house up on this rock, baby, every day with you. There's nothing in that town I need after everything we've been through. Me out in my garden, and you out on your walk is all the distance this poor girl can take without listening to you talk. I don't need their money, baby, just you and me on the rock. You and me on the rock. I built paper planes when I learned to fly, like a 747 falling out of the sky. Folded them crooked, now I'm wondering why I could always end up in the water. But nobody's asking why she's looking so thin, why she's laughing too hard, and why she's drinking again. A falling star, she's a paper plane. She was going down when you caught her. I built my house up on this rock, baby, every day with you. There's nothing in that town I need after everything we've been through. Me out in my garden, and you out on your walk is all the distance this poor girl can take without listening to you talk. I don't need their money, baby, just you and me on the rock. It's an earthquake, it's a harder wind, it's a record-breaking tide, and it is rolling in. It's a big sea, but it can't touch you and me.
Hi again. Some folks know this, and if you don't, I came to Minnesota to go to seminary. I went to Bethel Seminary. And after seminary, I worked at a church plant in St. Paul. There was a big gap, and then I came to work here. And in that gap, for about 5.5 years, I worked for a nonprofit called Youth Frontiers. So if you're unfamiliar with Youth Frontiers, basically it was an organization that partnered with schools, and we did these day-long character-building assemblies for 4th graders all the way through 12th grade. We would talk about kindness, courage, respect, and just like any organization, any company, that we had our issues. But something we really thrived on, I would say, is our staff culture. Our staff, or especially our program staff, was about 20 people who were creative and talented youth workers who just genuinely cared about the social, emotional well-being of students and of one another. And in this job, we used to travel pretty regularly. I was staying in motels and hotels probably 45 to 50 nights out of the school year. And in that time, my coworkers and I, we got to know each other really well. There was this really personal bond, and that line between friend and coworker blurred really easily. So what made the culture good, right? It's not enough just to have a bunch of really talented people together and expect a positive culture to happen, right? You could look at Fleetwood Mac as an example of that, right? And maybe for the younger folks, you could look at One Direction as an example of that. So then what is it? What makes a culture successful and healthy and vibrant? And a lot of gurus in the field of culture study identify a few common characteristics. One is pretty obvious, just a common purpose, common mission, common goal. Also a level of vulnerability, right? It's not just about the work, it's about seeing one another. And then the last one is, especially with that vulnerability, a level of safety and trust. So I would say that's definitely what we had at Youth Frontiers. Common purpose, easy. We want to build character, help the students be healthy, social and emotionally, so they can learn well. We had vulnerability. We used to tell a lot of stories from our personal lives, sing songs that we wrote, that some of us wrote. I didn't write any songs. And then there's definitely trust. Think about it. Picture walking into a big equi gym, and then 200 high school freshmen walk in, and it's just you and your coworker against them. Not against them, but you know what I mean. And you got to have each other's backs. So why am I bringing all of that up? Why am I bringing up Youth Frontiers? Well, for one, a lot of those friends and former coworkers of mine are around these parts. Some of them are in the band. Some of them are in this room. Some of them help out in our high school ministry. Some of them sing other weeks here at church or help with the Unnamed Kids show. And I think ultimately that's what we're trying to do here, right? As we're looking to the future and we're thinking about how do we build on the past, the legacy of this place, how do we try to be the church in 2021 as we think about how to be healthy and vibrant. We're taking all those objectives and we're cramming them together, and whether we say it or not, whether we're explicit about it or not, we're creating a culture, right, that we all experience every time we come here, every time we show up. So my hope is that that culture is a healthy one. It's a successful one. The passage that we're reflecting on today from Hebrews, to me, there's a lot of connection to healthy and thriving culture. If you look at it again, these verses are just incredibly, for me, pragmatic and tangible, which I really love. And you see some of those classic characteristics of a healthy culture. So common purpose, that first one. Well, it's let's hold on to the things we hope in and for, because we are held by the God who keeps promises. So the beauty about common purpose in this church, in this faith community, is that within congregationalism, our collective hope is kind of a hodgepodge of like our individual hopes, right? Like for some folks here, like you're so driven and you're so motivated, just being renewed, having people be renewed and experiencing the transformational love of Jesus, salvation. For others, it's redemption. It's redeeming all things, or it's healing spaces, or it's the pursuit of justice, or it's like radically inclusive love. Like all these things are connected, and some of us definitely gravitate towards some more than others, but that's all part of our collective hope. That's our common purpose that we all try to live out together. And it's under the wide umbrella and belief that the one who was promised is faithful, right? Even though we all have maybe different weight or different emphases, is that a word? Emphasis on our hopes. You know, we're all looking to God. We're all looking to the one who is faithful to fulfill on the promises that we have in our hope. So we've got common purpose. We've got that already in this faith community. So what about safety and trust? Again, I think that lives in this Hebrew verse. It says, might we remind each other to keep on loving and doing the good work no matter what. So I think that translation is like a lot easier to digest, a lot healthier. The one I was really reflecting on is the one, you probably know it, let us consider how to provoke one another to love and good deeds, right? Like provoking is not an inherently good thing. You know, usually tell people not to provoke others. If you have kids, you tell them not to provoke their siblings. But I think the nuance is intention, right? Like if your motivation is to annoy people, then that's not a good provoking. But, you know, in this case, you're provoking others towards love and good deeds. One of my most influential mentors I've ever had in my life, I met him over 10 years ago, and he was starting a church plant in St. Paul, so this was my first church gig. And he was the visionary, strategic, academic senior pastor, and I was the interpersonal feeler youth guy. And I learned so much from this man. I learned a lot about community and reconciliation and multiculturalism. And he used to provoke the expletive out of me. He was ex-cop, he was ex-military. He self-admittedly had low empathy. Like he didn't really understand empathy, which was confusing to me. And at the same time, he was really passionate about mentoring the next generation. So there was all of us, all these mentees that he had, and it was not uncommon for him to have check-ins with me, where for about 45 minutes, he would be very clear and very direct about how my actions or certain actions or behaviors I did recently were completely contrary to the things I said I believed or the things I wanted. And he would just put a big old spotlight on all of my blind spots. And it did not feel good. Typically by the end of these check-in sessions, I would feel like I should quit, like that was the right thing to do. I was doing really bad, like I wasn't doing a good job. But then he would always end our conversations with moments of affirmation, and he would affirm like who I was and what I was doing, and I'd feel like I was okay for a little while. Was this a healthy model? Absolutely not. I would never advocate for that kind of mentoring. I am not if you're saying like, okay, so if you're mentoring anyone in your life, be really tough on them and make them feel like they should quit before you affirm them. That's not a good style. It kind of it's resonant kind of with that old school kind of coaching or even parenting, where at its best, it's tough love, and at its worst, it's pretty clearly abuse. And I had to process, I had to heal from that experience of being mentored, but at the end of the day, I learned a lot, and I've seen my mentor since, and he's learned a lot. He's become more empathetic. He's realized the importance of emotional IQ. And again, my point is not to suggest this as a positive way to go about it. Just want to emphasize this idea that sometimes it's in those moments of discomfort that we change, that we grow. That maybe that mirror gets put in front of our faces and we realize some of the things we do or some of the things we say or some of the things we don't know is causing harm to those we care about, to those we love, even though that wasn't our intention. And sometimes when you are met with that reality, it's uncomfortable. Maybe you have moments where you feel like you should quit or give up or throw in the towel. But that's not the goal. The goal is that we can continue to show up well, and that's the choice we have to make, right? To act differently, to choose a new path, because we're motivated by our desire to love others and do good deeds and show up well for our community. I think at our collective best, with everybody here, that's what we can do well. We can lovingly provoke one another in the context of safety and trust. That's the key. It's safe and we trust one another. Provoke one another to see our blind spots or to grow or to learn. And then finally, we have vulnerability. And honestly, I just feel like the best thing I can do is just say, hey, everyone should read Brené Brown and listen to her podcast. And then you'd be good to go, and then I don't have to say anything about it. But in the context of this Hebrews passage, the next instruction is to, it says, and let's not stop spending time together, like some people do, but continue to encourage and support one another. Especially in a church context, in this context, like we have this rhythm where we get together. Could be Sunday morning, Wednesday night, throughout the week for small group time. And it's not to check a box, ideally. And it's not meant to just like get work done. Jesus literally says, when two or more are gathered in my name, I am in their midst. Like anytime we get together, that is an opportunity for God to do work in us, in our community. And if we're not ready to be vulnerable, if we're not showing up ready to grow or ready to have the Spirit move, we're really diminishing our ability to be receptive to how God is speaking to this place, to us, to our community in 2021. I would also add that when we meet together, we're at our best when we have a healthy degree of vulnerability with each other, right? Like if we choose to share our stories and our hurts and our dreams, others can support us and walk alongside us in meaningful ways. Like how can we truly encourage one another if we don't know what's going on? Like I don't know about you, like I like generic politeness and kindness, right? Like I like being told that I should have a good week. But it's those I see you words, those moments where people really get where I'm at and offer me encouragement that really sustain me. And then at the same time, I think something that's complementary to that is us being mindful of what others' hopes are when they come to this place, right? Like inviting them to share their story so that the onus doesn't always fall on other people to share, but invite them to. Create space where you say, hey, why do you come to this place? What is your hope for this place? What is your hope for all of us? And when all of that is happening, I think that is a culture where people can thrive in this faith community. So we're doing this together, folks, whether you like it or not. And it's not just the people in this room. It's everybody who's a part of this church community. It's the folks in the meeting house. It's the folks who are watching at home. As we seek to pursue our hopes for this lifetime with the God who is faithful, we need each other. Like this, we were never supposed to do this alone. Think about it. Those like examples of hope, the eclectic hopes that we might have, whether it's renewal in Jesus, redemption, salvation, healing, justice, radically inclusive love. Those aren't isolated hopes. They involve others. We want the best for others, and others want the best for us. So can the culture that we collaboratively co-create here allow for that? I think that's the big question I hope we all reflect on. The last story I want to share is my partner, my wife, Maureen, back there, her good friend recently lost her husband really out of nowhere. And yesterday we spent the day in Austin, Minnesota, attending his funeral. And it was layered pain because this friend of Maureen's lost her brother-in-law basically about 1 year ago. So, this family, those parents, the sister, lost 2 brothers, 2 sons in the span of about a year. There's a lot of pain, a lot of unknowns, like unknowns on how to process, unknowns about how to heal, how to grieve, how to eat, how to sleep. And the other night, as I was thinking about what I wanted to share this morning, on the theme of hope as holding on, I asked Maureen, I said, what would you say if you had the mic? She would never want the mic, but what can I say? And she said that when she thinks about hope, what grounds her is this idea that when you can't hope yourself, when you don't feel hopeful, let there be people around you who can hope for you, who feel that hope for you until you can feel it again. So friends, that's what I want to leave with you this morning as we hope together and create, hopefully a healthy, thriving culture. Let us remember that we need each other. And when you have those moments or seasons where you can't hope yourself, where it feels too far off, where it's cloudy or muddled, may your community, your faith community, provide that hope and feel that hope for you until you can feel it again. Let's pray. God, we thank you that you're a God who just meets all of us where we're at. Individually, you have hopes for us, plans for us to thrive and flourish. I'm thankful that we can be passionate in similar yet different ways on how to love one another and be there for one another. And I pray that all these things can live together in this building, sure, but in this community. I pray that we understand the importance of leaning on each other and creating space and holding space for one another as we together look to you for our hope. I thank you for this time. I thank you for opportunities to reflect, opportunities to lean in. And most of all, I'm just thankful for spaces like this where we can reflect and be together. In your son's name we pray.
Thank you, Andrew. We're going to move into our time of breathe out, and continuing on this trip I was on, we went up to North Dakota, had a beautiful experience there, and then from there we decided to journey to my family cabin in northern Minnesota, the great big town of Hackensack, Minnesota. There's the cabin. The story behind the cabin, we're coming up on 30 years of this being in our family. My grandpa drew this cabin on a napkin when he was in the Army and said, I want a big family and I want to make this for my family someday. My grandpa was an incredible human who focused very much on the need for each other. So I grew up in an incredible family of just experiencing community, and the cabin is one of those places for me that, it might be like my favorite place ever to go to. But it really has just embodied the need for each other and space and time. And so while I ended this trip there, I wrote a reflection on what the cabin is to me. It's still all right. The cabin that sits on the shore of Stony Lake season after season has whispered this phrase to me. The lake, the gentle breeze, the laughter of family and friends, the spirit of hospitality that is embodied in the welcome of slow pace and creation beckons the call to the weight and pain my heart carries. It's still all right. A deep breath lingers, a warm hug nudges the heart, a time to slow, unplug, grow closer to self and one another is necessary for anyone to feel at home. Campfires under the stars, fishing on the lake, cooking food, playing games, forgetting what time of the day it is. Stony Lake holds so much beauty, but the intention of how life is lived while time spent there is what makes it feel special. Stony Lake is a place I've grown up that has always encouraged the necessity of life together, community. Places we feel at home are places we are welcome to show up as we are. Stony Lake has always felt like home. There's always more room at the table, enough food to pass around, and a spirit of belonging no matter how rough around the edges you may be. These memories with the people at the cabin remind me it's still all right. When we have each other, when we choose to see and care for each other, we create spaces of home. I think there's one final picture of one of the amazing sunsets on Stony Lake. And so I want to invite you, as we've listened to Andrew, if we feel this need of being vulnerable, the need for each other, the need to provide hope for each other, I want to invite you to think about the places, the community, the people that remind you that it's still all right. No matter what is going on, what are those places, what are those people, and how might you then take that and foster more of that hope, more of those spaces of home where people feel they can show up and be themselves, and that we're reminded that we have each other. So I want you to take some time, reflect on that, and then share with a few people around you, if you would be vulnerable to do so, of what that looks like.
feel free to keep reflecting and chatting. We're just going to play a little music in the background for you.
When I feel lost and afraid, and it seems hope's gone away, I feel shattered and scattered, and there's nothing left to pray. I wanna be lost in your arms. I wanna be lost in your arms. I wanna be lost in your arms. That's where I wanna be. When my heart seems to fail and my fears get the best of me, I feel broken, no words spoken can bring me up from my knees. I wanna be lost in your arms. I wanna be lost in your arms. I wanna be lost in your arms. That's where I wanna be. That's where I wanna be. In the shadow of your wings. That's where I wanna be. When my spirit and soul shall sing, that's where I wanna be. Where my fears can do me no more harm. That's where I wanna be. Lost in your arms. I wanna be lost in your arms. I wanna be lost in your arms. I wanna be lost in your arms. That's where I wanna be. Oh, that's where I wanna be, where I wanna be found.
If you really like that last song, the person who wrote it is actually going to be leading the band next week, Mr. Josh Cleveland, so he'll be around. Announcement time. So this past Wednesday, we had our legacy luncheon as part of our 75th year anniversary. I think about 140 guests were here in this, in the Great Hall, as they heard from members of the community, folks who contributed to where we're at today. We heard about the building move. We heard about experiences with Crucio and different ministries and Pyro, and it was a great time to reminisce. So those are some photos from the Legacy Luncheon. Also, if you are not a member and you are interested in becoming, I went too quick. There's more pictures. That's the last one. Okay. If you're interested in becoming a member, the next membership class starts next week on Sunday. If you have any questions, ask Sarah. She's right there. Our next Faith and Family class is on the 27th. So Faith and Family, if you don't know what that is, basically we're offering some spaces and some conversations on topics that are meant to be helpful if you're a parent, a caretaker, grandparent, what have you. And on the 27th, we are having Dr. Dawn Rundman. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And she will talk about just the connection between brain development for not just children, actually just like throughout youth, etc. The connection between brain development and spiritual formation. So she will be here on the 27th. It's at 6:30 in Gathering Room 1. On the 31st is the installation of our senior minister, Mr. Jeff Lindsay, or Reverend Jeff Lindsay, on Halloween, no less. So we'll be celebrating him. It'll be one service on that Sunday, so we will all be in the meeting house so that we can all be together to celebrate and install Jeff Lindsay. There'll be a luncheon that day, as well as our Trunk or Treat event, which I think some folks in this room already signed up. In the parking lot, a bunch of cars will have their trunks decorated for kids to come by, bring the costumes. Adults, bring your costumes if you'd like to as well, and they can go through that real quick before the luncheon. And then at 11 o'clock, so in about 30 minutes from now, we do have our adult ed class in here. Christian Collins-Wynn is talking about these three are one, engaging the triune God. So full transparency, he does have some concerns that people think this is like too intimidating of a topic, that people see that title and they're like, I'm not gonna do that. It's been a very inviting and welcoming conversation. He encourages anyone to come, so don't be afraid of the Trinity. It's very important to our faith, even though most of us don't get it. All right, so as always, we talk about generosity here. Just a reminder, you can give your time, you can volunteer with any of the ministries, you can help set up, you can help just the other people in your community in a bunch of different ways. The classic way is you can give financially, and that just helps with resources and the building and everything like that. So you can give online, or is the basket still up there? Okay, the basket's at the front table. Yeah, that's all the announcements I have. So this week, I pray that you have opportunities to find your spaces, find your people, find your moments that help you hold on as you look to the North Star, as you look to God for your hope for yourself and this space. Have a great week, everybody.